All right. Can you guys hear me? How about now? Can you hear me now? Hey, can you guys hear me? I know 5 of you guys are out there. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. I just wanted to jump on and do a just Q&A. I haven't been posting on YouTube the way I do in my Facebook group. I encourage all of you guys to join. And so I keep, and I'm putting out some stuff that resonates with a lot of you guys. And I just wanted to jump in front of you guys right now and just talk about real estate investing, answer any questions, just for the people who are very YouTube focused and don't make it over to the Facebook group where it's more active. Yeah, go for it, Shrika. I just put the link for the mastermind group in the comments. Go ahead and type it up if you have a question. I'm just going to be on as long as the questions are answered, are being asked. I don't do wholesaling, so if you just want to throw some rental property questions, for the most part, I do work with clients. I work with people who've never invested before, and they're a little scared because all of the investing advice out there sucks and tells them to buy expensive houses that make no dang sense. But I also work with more experienced investors who purchase something, but they're making like $50, $100 a month, and that's just not good enough. I pretty much, $400 gross cash flow is what I expect out of everyone if you're investing in this market a month after expenses. And the only time I'll settle for less than that is if you're in the South, just because the geographic region has nice houses for cheap, but you're just not getting high rents like you are in the Northeast, or even better in the Midwest. So that's why, I do work with more experienced real estate investors, just because they followed advice that didn't make sense. You don't have Facebook? What do you have? I'm on everything. I got Twitter. I have Facebook. I have a monthly membership. YouTube will be coming out, but just different items. Like if I do an interview or something with one of the Facebook group members. Striga, what's the question? Baltimore's crazy. I've owned property in Las Vegas, Columbus, Ohio, Richmond, Virginia, Baltimore, now Charlottesville, our own residence. We also rent the lower part, and Baltimore's the worst for being a landlord. The city is not on your side. They have had horrible slumlords. I've met them. They're disgusting, but because of that, I get treated like I'm crazy, and so they're not on your side. So yeah, it does take 9 months. That's something that I remember when going into Baltimore, people would say it's hard, but they wouldn't give details. I'll give you details. So I'm not surprised at all. They have a checklist when you do an eviction. On that eviction, it's like, well, did you pay this one? Did you get your registration? Do you have this legislation? Do you have this certification? What about this? Did you pay this? I'm like, why do I have to pay so many people before you would even look at my tenant who's not paying me? So that's what's going on in Baltimore. And guess what? It's not like that in other places. And I don't even think it's like that in Cleveland or Detroit. It's pretty specific to Baltimore. So, Shriga, I used to gross $550 cash flow per month. Good. Gerard, who's been bad to whose tenants? What are you talking about? Oh, Shriga, tenants in Baltimore. Actually, I had great tenants. It was the city I didn't like. Although the only evictions I had to do 2 in Baltimore and nowhere else. So there is a different economics to the place, right? But no, my tenants are great. I love Baltimore tenants. They were lovely. They were quite charming. I actually see why they call it Charm City. They were pretty wonderful. Oh, Gerard Periscope? Okay. People still do Periscope? Who do you follow on there? Deshaun, 4, but went down, just 3, just sold one, in Baltimore, because I do not like it, and I'm looking at a triplex nearby, and about 2 hours drive from where I live. Yeah, mine is modest. You got to remember, I had the foreclosure that just dropped June of this year, 2018, because it wasn't 7 years from the day I was first got my foreclosure notice. I had to wait 7 years from the day that it closed, which was June 2011. So it, like 10 days ago, in order for me not to be committing any type of fraud, was like the day that I can officially get a mortgage. So I just held out for the last couple of years, just had my own property that we were renting out to focus on. And now we are, so I just sold the Baltimore one, and I am going to put that in a, hopefully a triplex I'm looking at, if no one else looks at it. So no, I'm not going to tell you what market it's in, but yes, it's a great market. Sure, you guys said he gave them stainless steel appliances and direct. Don't assume he was bad. Who knows? So, I want to sell. How to go about it? Sure, yeah, there's a ton of investors in Baltimore and homeowner occupants. Just still a real estate agent down. I used a random guy I found off Zillow. I went to Zillow and I looked to see who sold in my neighborhood, because I figured that would be the guy who would know it best, right, and who has had past sales. So I went on Zillow. You could see like past sales and find out what the person was that sold it. I did it through that, and he was really good. I swear I did about $2,000 worth of work just to fix it up for my last tenant, but you know, 6 weeks, it was pretty quick. So that's how I would do it. So go where your block is on Zillow, find out who has sold successfully in your neighborhood, and use one of them. That worked out really great for me. Robert Woodbury, how do you get started? So that depends on how much money that you have available currently, right? And what your resources are. I've worked with people who have $100,000 in the bank, but, you know, bad credit for whatever reason. It could be divorce, it could be medical bills, but, you know, they saved some money. But then there's also people with really good credit, but not a lot of money. And so basically it's find out, like, where do you stand, because that's going to determine what strategy you should use. If you have great credit but not a lot of money, you definitely have to look at maybe making sure all the improvements are in the mortgage. And what I mean by that, not looking at it such a fixer-upper at a cheaper price, but paying a little bit more that you don't have to come out of pocket with, and just really worried about the 20% on the down payment. So you do typically pay more. You're not looking at 30K houses. You're looking at 55, 60, but if you make sure that the rents are higher enough and you're making at least 400, 500 a month in rents, it's okay. So that's going to be your strategy. You're really going to have to be minimal effort. But someone else who is you know, cash heavy, we're going to do different. We're going to look at multifamily strictly. And we're going to look at higher rents, right? And so because we need to get the most bang for our buck, like if you invest in this property, you need to be halfway towards being able to live off the profits. So that's what you do if you're more cash heavy. And it also depends on your timeline. I do strategy sessions on my website if you want to go into it, where I'll sort of walk you through a timeline, but I have to get more information from you. This is where you fill out a strategy session applications if you'd like one. You have to fill that out because I need your details. Otherwise, it's so yeah, that's how you get started. First, figure out your financial profile, and from that, and your credit rating, and from that will determine a timeline and strategy that you should be using until anything changes. Or if it's perfect, then we just go all the way and map out, well, how much time do you have, so we can see, can you get one rental this year, 4 rentals, where are you located, or anything local that's in a lower price that we want to see, or are you going to have to go long distance? Well, where do we go long distance, right? But that's the second step. Joel Danes, I just answered Joel and Robert. Okay, 45K to invest, that's great. That's like 3 or 4 houses if you buy one with mortgage. So the only question is, can you do that? I had a foreclosure, so I could not. So I had to be more creative. But if you can, you should definitely use that, and 10 to 15K per home is a down payment, and really work towards getting your property there. Now, here's the thing with Florida. You pretty much aren't going to get gross, so your necessary expenses, and after that is like your, sort of like your gross cash flow, not after putting expenses. You're not going to hit like $400. You're usually going to hit $300 in Florida unless you invest out of state. So, just keep that in mind. You're not going to be like, it's not going to be Northeast Baltimore, Philly level cash flow, but that's okay. You don't have to get on a plane, right? So I would just take that and do 3 or 4 properties, and then after that you can get more properties, or maybe spend 2 years aggressively paying them all off, so you have 3 fully performing houses that are making $800, $900 in rents, but you paid it off and now you're at $2,700 free and clear before, within 3 to 4 years. Like, this doesn't have to be some 0 to 60 unit thing in order for you to be successful, right? Like, I lost my job, 3 years ago, and at that moment, 3 years ago, I was at $1,900 in cash flow, and like, that was enough to be like, I'm okay. So definitely a different game I'm playing. It's more, it's more comfortable, but this doesn't have to be some crazy, you don't need 30 rental units. I just had someone tell me that, and I said, why? Like, you don't even, like, that's a lot of work, and you don't need it, and you don't even make that much money now. So it's just interesting. Just be modest if you're not born for money, and you don't always have to have 30 rentals as the goal, right? It could be like 5 fully paid off rentals that bring you $4,000 a month, right? That's livable. Just depends on you. I work with people who are quite comfortable with being livable. So also, guys, if you guys want, I have my monthly membership, Investing Made Easy Monthly. If you guys want to join that, I'm putting it in the link. I am putting it in the link. If you guys, it's like $9.95 to join. I only do that because I know once you get in, you're probably going to stay, because 60% of the people do, because the stuff is good. It's what no one else is showing you. It's actual advice that works for normal people, right? So that's why I offer it at $9.95 for the first month if you want to try it. So it's in the comments. So 3 doors down, sold $129K 3 weeks ago. Oh, Shriga, wish the best for you. That'd be lovely, right? Gerard saying it's about your price range. All right, valid. It's not about what stainless steel appliances you have. It's what people can afford in that neighborhood. I think you should always be very conscious that these are the last places people can afford to work and live, and not pushing up the rents. That is always something all of us need to be mindful about. Would you consider pulling equity out of your current properties in order to buy more? You can. I just prefer to get like a new mortgage and put 20% down. But, if you can refinance, you don't have to put the 20% down. So, yeah. But here's the deal. If I have a house that's paid off, like, you can do that. But personally, I don't, because if I have paid that house off, I don't want to put another mortgage on it. I'll get a mortgage on a new house, like the one the triplex I'm at now, but I'm not going to put another mortgage on the house I already have. That might be just psychological, right? I'd rather just pay the money, put the down payment, get a new house, have that 20% down on that new house, so I only have 80% left of the loan to value, which is a lot less, if I, and I just don't want to, I won't put any debt on the houses I own, because that money is so secure. I don't have to pay, what am I cash flow after expenses? It's like, no, that's my money. So I personally wouldn't, but yes, you can. I just like having my houses paid off, because I can collect 90% of the rent, right? Okay. So, Joel bought a house in Queens, New York. He bought it for $420K. Houses in the neighborhood are going for $630K, $655K. Yeah. Wow. You sort of knew it. How long ago was that? I'm wondering how fast that appreciation was. All right, let me go through and see if I didn't miss any questions. How do I get started? Answer that. Joel. Oh, and Joel, if you're in New York, now that you said that, yeah, you definitely have to look out of state. I know upstate New York has cheap houses, but the taxes kill you. They take all of your cash flow. You know, people don't pay high rents in upstate New York, so even if you find something, you know, like it might be a $20,000 house, but like taxes are $400 and the rents are $300. So it just doesn't even make sense in many cases, unless you find a place where it has higher rents. I think Buffalo could be a little bit higher, but not much. But you'd have to be combined with lower taxes. So for you, I would say you gotta start looking out of state. I work with about 4 people I'm coaching and helping them build their portfolio in a smart way that works for their budget. And like all of them are from New York. So you just have to invest long distance. And I mean, you did really well with your properties in Queens, right? So definitely that gives you some capital to start with. I'm not, where do I purchase it? I'm not telling you. Because you might purchase it before me. I'll tell my coaching clients. It's 2 hours drive, which I always recommend for people to stay within. Joel, do I know much about New York? Yes. I mean, about what? Like, oh, Deshaun, you're funny. I did not. I used to do them, but like I was the only one drinking, and I was like, this was supposed to be fun. I was supposed to buy a drink. You're supposed to bring your wine. We're all supposed to sip and have some fun. So maybe next week, Sunday? Maybe next week on Sunday, I will jump on and we can kick it again. That would be really cool. We can do it over Zoom too. Zoom is conference, so we can see each other. Everyone gets so nervous, but just show your face, people. I like to connect. I like for you to see me, and I like to see your face so I get to know you as a person, not just someone on the internet who makes, you know what I mean? So I'll try it next week. If you're in the Facebook group, I'll post it there. If you're on my email list, I'll send out an email to see if anybody wants to jump on and join. But yeah, we could try it again. If someone shows up and someone drinks with me, yeah, we'll keep going. If I'm the only one drinking, maybe we'll just do something else. And not drinking heavily, I mean like a glass of wine, right? Joe Wilson, what do I charge for coaching? It depends. Some people have different budget and they have different timelines. So I like to say if you only have like a few $1,000s left, but you really want to invest, which is beautiful because it can bring you security and warmth unlike anything I've ever felt and imagined. It's okay. But then I'd recommend my monthly membership, which is $47 a month. That's what I recommend because it goes over all the things you can do as you're saving money, but there's other things you can do too. You could build business credit and we make it easy. You could build your business, you know, which you'll base and make sure you get other expenses from even before, you know, you put your rental up. So you can start making sure all your training gets deducted. So you can do that, and you have to do it through a parent company. And my monthly membership goes over those fine nuances of how do you prepare yourself so if it does take you 12 months to save up the money you need, that you are ready to go, not even with money, but with credit and with business credit and with your business, and you've done this and you've done that. So $47 to coach, and that's a weekly Q&A in the private Facebook group. That's pretty much me just answering questions like this. And what else? But then also I do group coaching. So it's different. If you see my phone prices are going to be different than my site prices, right? It's always a more of an incentive to get you sign up. But I do like 10 weeks of group coaching for like $1,500. So that's 10 weeks, usually enough to get everyone. But you also get my training, my signature training, which is the rental income system, sub 30K rental income system. Right now I offer a trial offer to my monthly membership that's going on right now. It's $9.95 for the first month, and I have it at that low price to get people in because I know you've been burnt by other places, but my stuff's good. My stuff's real good. You'll like it, and I know if you guys will try it at $9.95, you'll stay. Everyone else does. So yeah, so at the lower level, because you don't have a big budget yet, $47. At a mid-level, $1,500. If you want like direct one-on-one support, that is a bit more of a premium, and that's for people who have like $30,000 saved up, have $45,000, because that does exist within our circle, and they're like, I just don't know the steps of investing out of state or where to look. How do I make sure this market's the right one? Should I even be this market? What's my timeline? What should I be expecting in this price range? So it's people who want more support so they don't feel scared putting that money out, and they tend to go for that one-on-one support, which is like on the phone, like 2 to 3 times a week. We go over properties and analysis. So it is at a higher premium, and I don't even offer it unless you do have like enough to invest and pay for the package. So it's not outside of everyone's price range, but definitely you can go to this site, fill out an application if you haven't already. It's my detail sheet, so we can know what you're working with and dealing with. So that's how much my coaching. So we have lower priced items, plus my signature trainings that are going to be really helpful. But then we have a higher stuff. But if you want that, we'll just have more of a conversation to see, A, are you ready for it? And B, can I help you? And if those two align and you're ready, we can do it. But it's definitely a conversation. I have to see what you're working with. I'm very, very careful to make sure I put people in programs that to work with me that are appropriate for their budget and how much they have to invest. It's a sensitivity I wish more people would have, because, you know, if you don't have that much, I don't want you in my high level program because you're not ready, and that's not good for you. You know, I'm not trying to, I mean, I help people every day, left and right, which is why I don't mind jumping on asking questions. I don't know, you can probably tell I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for 4 years, so there's not too many things that with my coaching clients we haven't encountered, and I have, you know, I've learned from them from me, but not everyone, you know, are ready for that super high level of support and the premium that comes with it. So definitely my group coaching is really good. So you have $60K to invest with business credit. Oh, Jill, that's cool. You just got to be mindful, right? So there's business credit like that 0% APR, and then there's business credit that's like 15 to 20% APR, right? So I always say if it's at the highest interest rate, use it as needed. You know, if you're getting a, you know, use it when you know it's going to be shorter term. So say you have business expenses and you know you're going to go for another mortgage, but it's going to be a short-term thing. Definitely put it on your business credit, because if nothing else, when you go for the second mortgage, because you find another home you want to invest in, you don't have that $12,000 of a renovation just showing up, right? And you have time to pay it off. But I know some people just bought outright with credit cards. I don't know if that quite works all the time in this market, just because, I mean, your monthly payment's so high, but, you know, do you? Gloria, no, I do not. I mean, the only experience I have is I looked at them and then I'm like, you guys took all my profit, so no. But I mean, if you don't have the time to look for it, like you really just don't. I work with people who are single and they're like, I got tons of time. Then I work with moms and dads and they're like, I got 4 kids, I got work full time. They don't have a lot of time, and you have a lot more money, so you can pay a higher price, and you don't want to be bothered, and you're not looking necessarily for like $400 a month in cash flow. You're okay with $200, and this is like a long-term gain, like a 15-20 year. Like, that's when I think turnkey is good for you. When you have like a lot of money, you're just diversifying. You have a $200,000 in the stock market, and you want to take like, you know, 70 and put it in a house, and you know, a lot of the profits were taken off the table because you're buying it from 70 versus if you bought it yourself, but you didn't have to do any of the work per se. You might have to do some work if they didn't do it right. But like, you really don't need that extra cash flow. I usually generally work with people who like, I want to be financially free in 4 or 5 years, and we come up with a plan around that, right? Like, completely. So turnkey is fine. Just be mindful. Make sure you check their work, right? And if you do and it checks out and you're still okay with the you know, if you go on like BP, they'd be cool with the $200, $150 return. So it's not bad. It's just not good enough for me. I want at least $400 for my clients. And I'll take $300 if it's in the South. Hey, thank you, Deshawn. She says she appreciates the moral and conscious. You know, it's a calling, right? Like, I'm going to share something with you guys right now. I've been doing my own spiritual work, trying to figure out, well, what's my purpose here? I know I'm doing this, but is this it? Guess what? This is it. Like, this is it. I'm good at, like, you know, different financials. I'm good at figuring things out, and I'm good at teaching in a way that other people are not. You can be good at something but not a good teacher. I can generally teach and explain in a way that makes you A, motivated, and B, know that you can do it and inspires you to action. That is like my innate gifts that I was born with, right? But also in doing my higher work, I found out that my calling is to help bridge the gap between poverty and prosperity for people who sort of lost hope that they can do it or just haven't been able to make it. So this and what I'm doing falls right in line. So when I talk about, you know, affordable housing, that's just one more step closer to like impacting that life. So not only can I help investors invest in a way that it's just, you know, just be conscious and thoughtful and mindful of what's going on in this country. But whenever I help you investors do that, you're giving a nice home, and it should be to a nice family, right? Like my tenants are nice, and I've had tenants all over the country, right? In every type of sub 30K neighborhood, you are generally giving a nice home to people. And so even them, like that poverty consciousness, you know, at least when they enter their home, they have something nice and neat and warm to walk into, even if it's not ornate or super upgraded. So yes, thank you. I appreciate people resonated, and the more of us that resonate with that goal and take it to people and talk about it and challenge other investors, like, are you thinking about it? I am. This is what I'm doing. And the more of us that stand in that light, we're really going to make change, but not in some crazy, we're waiting for a politician change, but a quiet grassroots efforts no one saw coming until we own all the property, but we're taking care of it, and it's with the thoughtfulness, and then that voice can really push things through. So it's not just me. I hope everyone else needs to take this mantle and walk with it, because it's just so right. You know, when you trust your gut, it's right on 18 different levels. This is 18 different levels of right. You know what I mean? And we have to be conscious of it. You're welcome, Gloria. Hey, Joe, 0%? All right. Rock it, but just be mindful. Okay, Gloria, that is so good. 20K, we could probably get 2 properties out of that. Or, it depends where you are. If you're in California, you have to get a multifamily because you have to invest out of state to get the lower price. I work with people about 20K, and that's used generally 2 properties within 1 year if they have the time for it, but if they're really busy, 2, but definitely you start laying down the groundwork to see, well, when do you hit that 5th house? And when you hit the 5th house or 4th or 5th property, well, then what's the strategy then? Is it sell some of the ones that were paid off and buy a multifamily and call it quits? Is it buy more? Or a third of my clients are once we hit 4 or 5, I'm just going to spend 3 to 4 years paying that off, right? So there's a lot of different strategies you can take, but that's a really, really good start. So the biggest thing, oh yeah, Dallas, yeah. I work with a lot of Texans. We have to fly north and south. So we look at Georgia and Oklahoma, right? But you can find things within Texas, but then you're starting to look at 4-hour drives from these Dallas, Houston city centers. Dallas might be okay. You just might have to drive further out. Maybe. I think not even North Dallas. Last time I checked, it was getting so expensive. So with my Texas people, it was that you could find things locally, but a lot of people in Texas have money and they've been purchasing. So it's definitely starting to look, if you really want to get those lower price deals that are in good conditions, you go up north. So we were looking at Oklahoma for some, and you can get one for modestly priced, but it doesn't need a lot of work. And rents are decent return on investment, but they're easy, right? So in the South, you get $300 cash flow, not $400, $500, $600 like my clients can get in the Northeast, but you don't have to do any work, and the demographic is slightly higher end. People who can afford to take care of the house and call for plumbing. So, it's pros and cons. All right, is there any more questions? I've been on for about 30 minutes. I just wanted to jump on, see what is going. I just wanted to jump. There's something that moved me to just go, let's just jump on and do a Q&A and throw some questions at me. You got anything else before I jump off? And I know this might sound weird, but I actually like when the questions get thrown at me about real property investing, just because I've gained like 4 years of knowledge. I've helped like hundreds of people one-on-one. We've invested in almost every single state and city. So it's actually sort of fun to get a question and see if we can build off all of those past experiences. So Gloria, Tarrant County? I'm not familiar with that. Is that Oklahoma? Or is that Texas? Oh, sure, yeah, you're definitely ready. You can do more, but, like, it doesn't have to be scary doing long distance. Like, my clients do it and they're happy as heck, because you just have to take the right things into account. People, when I first start working with them, they're like, this is this property I randomly saw. They're in California, and they're like, this is in North Carolina. And it's just random. And I'm like, well, first, let's find out, like, what markets you even should be looking at. Like, what are the easiest and cheapest to get into? So, like, if it costs $300 to fly into one market and $130 round trip to fly to another, we're going to start with a $130 round trip ticket to look at that out-of-state investing market. So when you go over to different nuance, there's a lot more metrics you got to take into place. But when you start taking those little things into account, you really start building a business where you have to travel every few months. You have to travel for that 2 to 3 month period, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks on the weekends. But you're building one that's like affordable and scalable and makes sense and it's practical and you'll want to. So before you start looking at houses, stop it. You have to make sure the market is the right market. Is it set up to take your house up, or is it placed to go down? Right? And then those other factors of cost and travel time. So all of that gets taken into account. So yeah, and I just wanted to say, like, when you take all those into account, like, it can be real easy, right? So I have a guy who is outside of Baltimore County. Round trip on Southwest. And let me tell you about my properties. Like, literally, you don't have to visit your properties all the time. If you take care and make sure the right infrastructure and system was in place before you even do it, you have the right people managing it. You already checked before you went there and you knew what to look for. And yeah, like, I haven't visited my property in Ohio in like 4 years, but it's good. Like, I get the photos, I get the reports, I know what's done and what needs to be done and pay for it to get done. I get, I'm completely aware of the whole entire thing. When I sold the house in Baltimore, I didn't go up to Baltimore. But I made sure I was working with the contractor that knew, hey, have you ever worked with anyone out of state? 2, can you take photos before you do the work, then send the estimate? Like, you have to be like a cell phone savvy, right? Like, I can't get a grizzled guy who doesn't know how to use a computer. I need to get someone with a smartphone who knows how to send me a text, right? So between that and my real estate agent, like, I got that thing done and sold. Fixed up and sold within like 6 weeks. It's just not a big deal. So investing out of state and long distance can be just as easy, and maybe because I have you check so many different metrics before you choose, you actually have a little bit more due diligence than someone who's local, because I made you and forced you, if you work with me, to check all these different factors, and I tell you why to check them before you invest. Any experience with Chicago? Yeah, a little bit. People are buying. You just have to be careful about some of the violence. But if you live, I mean, do you live there? Because I have people who've purchased, but they also live there, and it's pretty decent. The taxes can be pretty high, right? So some people go outside of Chicago. So it just depends on the house. You can't say, so yeah, you just have to look at the factors. What are the taxes? What are the area? What's the crime like? What's the neighborhood? What's happening in the neighborhood? And is it still profitable? And how much work is needed to get it up to par? So that's what I'd say, Deshaun. Yes, a little bit. You're invested in 3 to 10 units all over Pennsylvania, Joe. It just depends where you're at, how much you want to pay. Yeah, Mexican Chloe. Oh, that's David. Right? I don't know why you call yourself Mexican. Thanks for joining. That's David, y'all. You want to say anything to anybody? And it took me a moment to realize Mexican Chloe was David from the Facebook group. Do you have to set up LLC out of state? Okay, you're in New York. I think it costs like $325 to establish your LLC. So, and I think in Pennsylvania, when I checked, it was $100. So it's literally cheaper for you to like get an LLC in Pennsylvania for $100 and then use a company I use called Encore. It's INCORP.com, Encore.com, and they're $90 a month per LLC, and they'll be a resident agent. Don't use them to do your documents, like to get your LLC. They do it in a way where they don't get like the stamp and they like print it out and it makes problems. Don't use them to make your LLC. That's easy. You can just go to the Secretary of State of Pennsylvania, download the sheet, put in minimal information, make it a parent company. Sorry, I don't mean to confuse you. So just download the sheet, pay for it. $90 for Encore, and they will give you the address to put for your resident agent. And that's still cheaper than if you got a New York LLC, right? And so, right, so if you're in a place like Baltimore, New York, and you're not investing in Maryland and New York, and you're not investing in those areas, yeah, look and see if it's cheaper to get it out of state, even with like the $90 annual fee to get like an established resident agent. Hey, David. Are you Mexican? I live here, but thinking about outskirts or suburbs. Yeah, you know, like I know people who live in like those rougher parts and like got out of debt. They're like, I live in the hood, but it's cool. I mean, so it just really depends. There's going to be some people who are absolutely terrified of that, and don't go if you are, right? Like you got to listen to yourself. You are the ultimate judge. But then there's going to be other people who are like, look, I grew up in a neighborhood like this. I'm fine. Thank you very much. It's cheap. I'm okay with this. Yeah, this isn't quite cleaned up, and yeah, there was some violence down here, but it doesn't touch like my few streets, so we're cool. Not everyone's like that. Some people are, some people aren't. Just because the neighborhood's in a lower income area does not necessarily mean there's gunshots there every night, right? Like neighborhoods are different. It's really block to block. I say that all the time. People don't really get until you really start doing the neighborhood analysis. All right. Any other questions before I jump off? And oh yes, so for the people who just joined on, I'm doing a free trial to my monthly membership, Investing Made Easy. It is $9.95 just to try it for the first month. I do that at a low price to get you to come see it. It's practical advice. It's not like the advice out there that you get in a free online forum. It's just not the same. It's just not. It's so practical. I've had the best people in the country who are able to give us their knowledge about building an LLC, about do you put the name of the house in the name of your LLC? And the answer is no. There's other ways to protect yourself, like equity stripping. There's so many other things you can do. So I offer this trial monthly membership just to get people who just want to try some things out, get to know me, get to know the stuff. And I know once you get inside, you're going to like it. And then I also do a weekly Q&A in the Facebook group, sort of just like this if you have questions. If you guys are interested in that. So it looks like we're all good. I'm so glad you guys just jumped on and had a talk. For some reason, I was just led to do this today. Sometimes you're just sitting there and you're like, I just need to do a live coaching session, like, and talk to people and let them see what it's like to just be able to ask the questions, all sorts of crazy questions, you know? Joel Danes, it really depends on what person. No, it's not to get an LLC because the LLC you want to get, you know, depends on what market you're in, right? Like I told you, like your New York versus Pennsylvania. I mean, you can get an LLC, but you have to set it up properly. Make sure it's general. Make sure you have the operating agreement and specify what's ordinary and necessary business expenses so that you can start deducting immediately, even before you get your property in place at first day of service. So, I mean, you can, but like, there's a thoughtful way to get an LLC. First, it is discover what your budget is. Like I mentioned earlier, I think you were on maybe, where it was like, well, are you cash heavy? Are you cash heavy, bad credit? Are you high credit, no cash, or are you high cash, high credit, right? And so then determine what strategy, what timeline, how many houses are you going to get this year, next year, what's your pace, what your pace can possibly be, right? Depending on your time constraints. And then once we got that established and we know exactly what you should be looking for based on your budget and your timeline and what your cash flow goals are, then we go forward. If you got an LLC now, you don't need an S Corp. I do partnership personally because they get audited the least. You can. Just understand there's going to be some tweaks to it if you work with me, because I work with really good accountants who are going to tell you exactly what to put in the operating agreement so you can make sure that you're maximizing what you can do with it. So there's a lot of different moving parts, but thankfully the LLC thing's pretty easy. That'll take you like an hour. Oh, hey, Joel. The trial is a steal. I am so aware of it, but you know, like my audience, when they see like high price tags, I'm worth it. I'm telling you all right now. But like when they see it, they get scared, which is fine. So I'm like, check it out. You're going to love it. You will like it. Have fun. And then if you don't, at the end of the 30 days, cancel. But don't act like I don't pay for cocktails that are $12, $13. You guys might notice a recurring thing. I like to drink a little bit. But don't worry, I don't take it too far. But I'm a sucker for like a nice cocktail that takes you like 30 minutes to drink because it has all sorts of weird ingredients in it. Like I'm that full. So what to do first? I literally talk to people to find out what your profile is and what do you want to see. Not everyone wants do you just really want a cheap house and tons of money, or do you want a nicer looking house that you're a little bit more comfortable with? What is your comfort level in different types of demographic and neighborhoods? I'm the one that's going to be different because I'm going to make sure I find all that out before we say what you should do first. Because in order to have a business that you actually enjoy and like, it does not have to be stressful, people. It really doesn't. If you are stressed, well, it doesn't have to be. I'm telling you. My clients leave me every day saying it's really easy, but, you know, I help guide, assist, instruct, and I make sure we take what they really care about and what they want to see in life into account. Yes, in life into account before I just start telling you what to do. So I do the consultation. You guys can do the... yeah, no, it is a steal deal. It's completely a steal. But that's why people pretty much tend to stay about 60 to 70. No, it's almost like 75% of the people tend to stay with me, and some are in like month 15, right? Because I keep adding the new stuff, and the longer you stay in, the more of my signature stuff. Like I have a course, like sub 30K rental system alone is $997. $1,000 worth it, trust me. Most people who use that one tend to buy a house within 6 to 9 months, and they'll email me or post on the Facebook or post on my page like thank you, because so it's good. But the longer you're in the monthly, you start getting some of that material that's completely different, and it's between the two. It's a good symbiotic relationship. So what is this? I made it very clear, if you do invest, make sure it fits who you are. Not everyone's comfortable in a lower income black neighborhood. I am. But then there's some neighborhoods I'm like, no, right? Like, and that's okay to like not be comfortable. You don't know everything, right? So I think it's also important to make sure you're building a business that you'd like to show your friends and family. Right? And not everyone has the same tolerance level or comfortability with every neighborhood. So don't force it. Like, don't just chase your eyeballs and chase the money, because you'll pay for it later. It's not just about money. It's about what this money can do for us. And at the end of the day, what do you want it to look like needs to be taken into account. We can't just chase cheap homes, right? It has to make sense. Yes, sir. 29 and in college? Okay. Wow, save all that energy. Probably single too. So you just have tons of time and you get the best deals and you can talk to contractors. And I got a toddler and she's just like, mommy, mommy, mommy. You from East New York? Oh, so you're good, right? So you have a wide range of places that you'd be comfortable with. That's what I'm hearing. So also before I get off, I'm going to have a live event. It's underneath every video. It's in the Facebook group. I will have a live event in New Jersey. There's only room for 3 more. I have 5 of my clients who I've been working with on my 10-week coaching program are going to be there. So there was only room for 3. Only 3 more so are open to the public. If you've been in my monthly membership, you automatically get like I think it's like $400 discount on attending. It's a 2.5-day intensive. The first Friday night is a meet and greet and cocktails on me. Saturday, Sunday are intensive. We're going to go over, it sort of changes a little bit depending on the group, but we're going to go over everybody's individualized vesting plan, things to be mindful of, how things are changing, and what they should be looking for. All my clients are in New Jersey, so New York and New Jersey, so the people who are going to show up are going to be, I have 3 houses in, 1 house in, 2 houses in, all investing out of state. I recommend it because it's a beautiful group of people. I'm so blessed to attract on this page right here in person. Like, when you meet the people in my tribe, like when you meet each other, I'm telling you, it's magic. It's everyone in my tribe sort of resembles the story that I have, which is we did not necessarily start with a lot of money, but we were able to figure out the skills to make it. And so when you're around people who are that capable to go from like poverty to like a level of prosperity, it's an amazing group. So that alone is worth it. And I always say that people like each other more than me afterwards. But no, it's a blessed group. And don't ever assume anything about my group of people. I've met the most amazing folks in the world. Like art dealers and like there's nurses, there's doctors, there's art dealers, there's, you know, IT work. It's just an amazing group. Hey Frederick, so my $9.99, the trial offer is there, and like I do a weekly Q&A. So it's $9.95 just for today, just to get you in, because I know what you're in. You're gonna love it, and it'll change your life, which is what I'm here to do. I was telling them earlier, I've been doing my spiritual work to find out what my calling is, and like basically this was it. Like, it's helping people to bridge the gap between poverty and prosperity. Like, I did it, and so many people have done it, but like helping to like guide it in a way that all the other advice was like crazy, but just putting it in real concrete practical form. And that's what the monthly membership is. It's great, and the longer you're in, the more data you get to get. Oh, it's free to get a free LLC in Pennsylvania if you're a veteran. Isn't that amazing? That's really cool. Joel, where to sign up for the live event? If you want to check it out, go ahead and go to any of the pages of my YouTube videos. It should be, I had my assistant put it at the top of every page, like my live event, New Jersey. But here, let me go just in case. My assistant was moving, so I was giving her like, hey, can you update this? And like, usually she's on it, but now she's, you know, she has her life, right? So we're gonna be gentle. That's where you can go to check it out if you want to see the page. Oh, is it a call? I wouldn't say that. It's a call. It's definitely a warm, loving, supportive place with kick-ass people who know how to get things done. There's so much capability in the room. That's why I love the people I attract and interact with. Like, even you guys, like, I can just sort of tell by the questions that you guys are like people who can get shit done even when people count you out. Like, I can tell that. Like, it's an amazing thing. You're capable. Like, I know if like 20 of us was in the room, like, we could probably solve a lot of issues in this country just because our creativity and our experiences and putting it all together with clear communication. I know it. You drink, don't drink the Kool-Aid. I just saw that Jonestown documentary. That was the saddest thing in the world. I gave a prayer for the souls there. So we are a loving cult of people who are very supportive. How can I attend the NJ workshop? Jill, I put the link to it right there. Shelton, he said, thanks, Joe. Okay, you can read that. Okay. Thank you, Sheldon, for your service. Yeah, we have a veteran here. Get the, you know, a free LLC. I will take it. Just make sure you pay your monthly fees. Okay. I am gonna go. It was really fun talking to you guys. So someone requested, am I gonna do wine time? I'm gonna try wine time, but this is what you guys need to do. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna post about it in my Facebook group. So join the Facebook group. There's a link to my Facebook group. I'll write it right here. I'll post it over there, and I'll put like, hey, let's do a live Q&A session. I'll be wine time, so bring some wine. Everyone has to bring wine. I'll do it over Zoom so I can see everybody. And then if people show up, let's do it and just talk real estate investing and like share where everybody's at and where their experiences are, because I really like for us all to connect, just because I'm just so amazed. I'm always blessed. So I always say I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Like, I feel honored that you listen to what I have to say. You take it in with respect, and like it can change your life. Like, you know, so I'm doing my portion of why I'm here on this earth, but you guys are doing your part too. You know what I mean? To like be that positive member who figured out financial, you know, prosperity, even though they may not have came from it. And we need more of us to do that, but with heart and compassion. And we're going to be such a powerful force. Like, I can't wait for 5 years from now, or even 2 years from now, and see how many people like can stand by what they do. You'll send me a bottle. Cool. You'll send me a bottle. All right. I got $6. I'm like the biggest fan of $6 wines, all the way up to like, of course, I mean, I don't go too high. I'll go like to 15. The wine. So I'm all done. I'm just gonna talk. Participating. All right, Dimples. Hey, have a look at the replay. I'll try to post if YouTube doesn't automatically post it. All right, Shelton, amen, right? So we can do this. Don't even doubt it for a second. And my hope is that we're sleepers. So I don't want anyone to see it happening until we're just like, bam, and we're there. You know? All right. Let me see. So